Hello, everyone. Kim Kaiser here, and I am streaming live to Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube as usual. Here on this, what is it? Wednesday afternoon here in hot Houston, Texas. I don't know where you all are in the world, but let me know in the comments where you are. And speaking of the comments, I love knowing you're here. If you like or comment, that helps other people actually find this information that we're about to talk about today, and yeah, it may just help them along in their journey. So any comment or like that you can have, I would totally appreciate that. So today I'm going to dive right in because I have a call coming up pretty soon, and I'm going to talk about healing unhealthy situations in business, in life. This can really apply to almost anything. And I am talking about this because a lot of times when people come to me, it's because they have some sort of like unhealthy situation, in their business, maybe going on in their life. It could have to do with relationships. It could have to do with money. It could have to do with structure. It could have to do with a lot of different things. But ultimately, we take things back to sort of what is the root of the problem. And that's what I'm going to talk about here today, because ultimately, like using business as an example, ultimately, businesses are built on human beings, right? And the level of resilience and health, those human beings, all the human beings within a business, contributes to the overall health of the business. It's going to contribute to whether the business struggles or whether it thrives. And a lot of times people don't look at this piece at all. And I'm going to talk about why I think that is too. But that's what we're going to go into, because I think, my purpose, my absolute purpose in life is to have people live and enjoy the fullest life possible. Like that's why I've been put on the planet. It's how I operate in my own life. I'm always looking at how can I even live a fuller life? How can I enjoy my life more? How can I take the things we have to do in life and absolutely enjoy them? And that's why I'm talking about this today, because we are just, yeah, all in a lot of situations. And some situations we find ourselves in can be unhealthy. And what I mean by unhealthy is things where we struggle, things that seem not as easy as they could be, right? And so I'm going to talk a bit about that. Now, why do we, like, I'm just going to use business as an example throughout this broadcast, but you can sort of substitute anything that happens to be your problem here and apply what I'm talking about. Okay. And why do, like in business, I see this happen a lot. So I'm just going to use this example. And it's, for instance, a business owner might hire people into their business and then find out, or like kind of even through the interview process, go like, well, this person, like they're I really like all these things on the resume, but boy, when I talk to them, I notice this one thing that I'm not really crazy about, right? And then but most people are super optimistic, or many people are super optimistic about being able to change that person, right? Or they believe in the person's potential, which I highly believe in people's potential. That's something that I absolutely believe in. But I also believe that when we pull people into our business, like we want those people at a high level of resiliency to start, a high level of emotional intelligence, a high level of the ability to create productive relationships, right? And where I see a lot of businesses struggle is they sort of hire people or a person and hope that the person develops. And again, I believe in the development of people. I'm not saying I don't believe in the development of people. However, I think there's like one track where like there's development of a person, because like as they develop in their career, there's a natural progression, that kind of development. That's fantastic. But the kind of development a lot of times people, business owners, really believe in is like changing people, like changing something fundamental, like someone having no emotional intelligence, but really needing them to have emotional intelligence, and then trying to kind of sort of train and coach them to emotional intelligence. And that is a dicey game to play in business. Okay. Now you can see how what I'm talking about here applies to a lot of areas of life. It applies if you're dating for sure. See a lot of women, even starting from moment one with a man, might see potential, but they don't see that potential in the initial interactions. And then what happens? We invite people in to our business, into our life, into a relationship, and then we get ourselves tangled in something that in the perfect world we would not be tangled in. Why do people do that? Why does the business owner like invite that employee into their business even though they know there's something off and then they think they can change it? Why does a man or a woman start a relationship with someone already wanting to change something? Like, why do people do that, do you all think? Because I have an absolute view on that. Like, I have a take on that. There's probably not just one reason, but I feel like the main reason people do that, invite something into their life that's not ideal, is because that person is working from a mentality, a hidden filter for them that is lack. It's scarcity. It's you're afraid nothing better will come along, right? Like there's so much in the news right now about like it's impossible to hire people. So, but people have been doing this for a long time, hiring the wrong people. So it's like believing like somehow deep in the fiber of your being, you start to believe that the right people won't come along. Like we only have this, we've only got these two options, and this one has this problem and this one has the other. So I guess we'll take the lesser of two evils. I'm sure people on here who are listening have done that before, right? I know I have when I was operating at times from lack and didn't realize that was happening. Same thing in the dating arena, prior to meeting my husband, I had several years of working in a lack mentality that didn't seem like I couldn't see that it was a lack mentality around men, and I would settle for less than what was yeah, optimal for me, right? Less than what was divinely guided for me, because I didn't believe that there were a whole stable of men out there waiting for the perfect person, right? I didn't believe in that. But here's what I see, and this is something that like this one sort of filter or belief, when you start to shift this in your life, can change absolutely everything. Like it can change like infinite numbers of things. And it has to do with that we live in a universe that is divinely orchestrated, and it is abundant. Like everything is abundant in our world. If we don't believe that, and we believe that certain things are scarce, certain things we lack, then we're never going to experience an abundant world in every way. But when we start to look around and see, like, wow, oxygen, that's abundant right now. Like that just simple thing. We don't worry about whether we have enough oxygen to breathe, do we? Like, no, I mean, most people don't. Just, sitting at your desk or whatever you're doing right now. We don't, there are so many things in life. Like if we think about our bodies, it's another place that there's so much abundance, isn't there? Like we're not worried about, is there going to be today, for again, of normal healthy people, is there going to be a lack of heartbeats to keep our hearts going? We don't worry about that. But when we shift into things in like business or in relationships that look a bit more solid, like those are very solid to us, we experience those all as like solid reality, then that's where we start sort of inviting in, or what gets programmed in is a lack mentality, a scarcity mentality. And this is where, to me, when we can, like, this is when I talk about, I work at a foundational level with people. We work at the foundational level of, are you working from a scarcity filter or an abundance filter? Like, and we can obviously see that. That's obvious. It's something we can smoke out pretty easily. and determine which someone is working from, and then really start to reprogram that. And this is the thing, because again, we're going back to our example about business. Like, again, businesses are ultimately built on people and the level of resilience those people have. Like, we want to get really good at not only being able to spot the resilient, healthy people, right? The ones who really can come in and contribute and are a great match for our businesses, but also we want to start to noticing in our own selves, like, okay, do I believe that if I don't hire this person who's pretty good but not perfect, pretty good but not perfect, do I believe that there's someone else out there for my business for this position or these positions, right? Notice what you believe in that. And if you go into the party line and believe that because of the great resignation, there's all, like it's much harder to hire and blah, 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 then you're going to keep attracting people into your business that aren't quite right, because lack attracts more lack. It's the only thing it can attract. And at the same time, if you really believe, like, oh, this person's not perfect, I bet there's a perfect position for that person somewhere out there, and I'm going to wait for the absolute best person to come along, then that just would show that, oh yeah, you have a really healthy, abundant mindset, and therefore the laws of the universe that govern attraction, they're going to attract someone perfect for you. Same thing goes in relationships as well. That dating scenario that I was saying earlier. Like, I'm in some women's groups where there are a lot of women who are married, but also women who are dating, and a lot of people who have tried to, yeah, they're trying to, get their relationships better and that sort of thing. And that's one place in my life that I really see the abundance in life. And I always try to shed light on the ladies who are dating, and you can tell by their stories that, wow, they're really accepting something so much less, like, something so imperfect, and you can sort of see the trajectory of what's happening. And I always talk to them about, yeah, just like that's a lack mindset. If there were a line of 10 suitors, perfectly designed for you, would you still be trying to talk to this guy who is really out of alignment and a little bit quirky and maybe kind of scammy? No, of course not. Same thing goes with just that example of hiring employees. If you knew there were 10 more people you could look at, and they would have all the things you need, would you hire the person who just happens to be there and maybe it doesn't have all of the qualities or the level of resilience or the level of health that we're talking about? So that's what I think the assignment for today, as I sort of close up here and get on to my next call, is like noticing for yourself. Again, awareness starts to create something different. Create awareness in your life where you might be carrying around that mindset of of scarcity or lack, and where that then is contributing to unhealthy situations in your business or in your life. And I would love to hear from you about that. As always, you can always direct message me on any of the platforms, and I love hearing from you all, and I love knowing you're here. Thanks so much for listening today. And again, I will be back in a day or two with another one of my broadcasts. Thanks so much.